In this video, we'll look at the structure of the nephron and go over a brief description of the function of each of the parts. Here's an image of a kidney, and you can see within the renal medulla are structures called renal pyramids. And within these renal pyramids, there are nephrons. And nephrons are the functional units of the kidney that actually do the filtering and control the concentration of substances in the blood. So we're going to look at one of these nephrons and examine its structure. Here's an image of a nephron. It's a very simplified image so that we can see the different parts. Blood enters the kidneys through the renal artery, which then branches off into many arterioles. The arterioles that are bringing blood into the nephrons are called the afferent arterioles. The blood enters through the efferent arteriole into a web of capillaries called the glomerulus. Here at the glomerulus, the blood is filtered and the filtrate enters into the nephron. Blood then exits through the efferent arteriole. So those names are really similar, afferent and efferent. The way I remember it is that E is for exit. The efferent arteriole is where the blood exits. So the filtrate that comes out of the blood goes into the nephron into an area called Bowman's capsule. It then continues to flow through the nephron, and various changes are made to its composition so that in the end we have urine. So the next step is the proximal convoluted tubule. So convoluted just meaning that there's lots of twists and turns to create a large surface area. The filtrate then flows into a region called the loop of Henle. And the loop of Henle has two limbs. When the filtrate is flowing down, this is the descending limb of the loop of Henle. And on the other side, when the filtrate is flowing up, we have the ascending limb of the loop of Henle. The filtrate then flows into the distal convoluted tubule before entering into the final spot, the collecting duct. And at the end of that, all the collecting ducts send their urine into the ureters to be stored in the bladder. Now we'll look briefly at the function of the different areas of the nephron. So starting with the glomerulus and Bowman's capsule, the function of this area is ultrafiltration. So what this means is that blood plasma, so that's the liquid portion of the blood without the cells, and the small molecules and ions in that blood plasma are forced out of the capillaries of the glomerulus and into Bowman's capsule. The next area of the nephron is the proximal convoluted tubule. In this area, selective reabsorption occurs. So in this area, filtered materials that the body still needs are returned to the bloodstream. So important things like glucose are put back into the blood. The next area is the loop of Henle. The general function of the loop of Henle is water recovery. The loop of Henle creates an osmotic gradient so that the water can leave the filtrate and return to the blood through osmosis. Finally, the collecting duct is where osmoregulation occurs. So this is the fine-tuning of water levels in the blood. And this is carried out by hormones which control how permeable the walls of the collecting duct are to water. So that was a general overview of the structure and function of the nephron, which are found within the kidney, and there are millions of them which work together to create urine.